Right. Now, we're wax resisting these mugs here, and I've done one of them already, and it just looks a bit lumpy there, so we sieved that slip straight through again. So the idea here is to paint a pattern in wax on this mug, and then to dip it into the coloured slip, and then put it aside to dry, and they'll go into a bisque firing. Now, the slip's in this bucket, and the consistency is sort of single cream, and these pots are quite dry now, and it depends on what slip you're using, whether you're going to get a problem with pots cracking after you've slipped them. We have had that quite a bit, really, particularly with terracotta. And we don't get it too badly with this white clay, but having said that, you can do it, it can happen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little, where they do tend to crack is over the handle, so I'm going to paint a little bit of wax down that handle there, and then I'm going to put a line of wax around there like that, and then I'm going to paint some lines down here. I like it where the slip breaks up a little bit more, and you've got to be a little bit immediate with it. So that's the wax painted on there, and it's a one-hit thing. You can't come back at this. You're either going to do this like this, or you're going to have to put the whole thing into a bisque firing. And now I've dipped that in the slip, so the slip has retreated back from that, and it's left that handle there pretty much untouched. So that one's done. I'm going to put it down there. Now, one thing can happen with these is that the slip can and actually cause a bit of a problem on the inside of it, so I can show you that, and I think you should be able to see it on the inside there. Sometimes you get a lot of spots and stuff, and some customers can be a little bit fussy about that. I mean, this is a handmade article, so I don't mind that happening. I sort of think it adds to the character of the mug a little bit, tells you something about its little journey through the production process, and but as I say, some people don't like it. So on this one, I'll paint that. I'll just wax resist that a bit. I'll put this line around it there, and this is giving me more the effect that I want on it. I'm running out of wax, and that's a dangerous thing, because if you dip it again, you're going to get a completely different result. I shouldn't be going over that twice. So I've got what I want on that, I think. Let's dip that one and see. So that one there is done, and that's it. So I've done 3 like that, and now what I'm going to do is swap these buckets around, because the one underneath it is the blue slip. So I'm going to do some of those in blue, because the blue ones are quite popular. No, that's not it. Oh, it's this one. You've got to be very careful with these buckets, because it says G14 on it, which is the glaze, overglaze we're using, but that's clearly not an overglaze. So I've got to be very careful to mark the buckets. I try and put them back in the right buckets, but that sometimes means just transferring stuff around a bit too much after you've sieved it. Now, these will separate out a little bit and the water will settle on the top, and it needs stirring back in again. It looks like we've got quite a lot of glue slip, and the blue in it is cobalt oxide, black cobalt oxide. You could get cobalt carbonate as well. But I always find that carbonate, cobalt carbonate, gives you a slightly more even blue, and I'm not really looking for that. The black copper oxide is stronger. It's harder to get it into solution with the ball clay, and so what happens is that you tend to get little dots of more concentrated blue in the slip, and I think that gives the glaze a little bit more character. I don't really want it to be too bland. I prefer it to have a little bit of sort of texture in the colour, a little bit more variation, if you like. Now this one here is the blue, but it's we use a green as well, which is from black copper oxide, and it's really difficult to tell them apart in the bucket. They both look grey, basically, because they're mixed in with a white ball clay, and I think that's going to do it there. You've got to mix up these slips. If they've got metal oxides in them, you've got to mix them up pretty thoroughly, because those metal oxides are very heavy and they'll fall out into the bottom of the slip quite readily and easily. Again, I got a sort of double cream consistency on this one. You kind of get used to what works with that. So if I put that one to one side and this one I did earlier, then I've got 3 more mugs here that I want to do now with a blue slip on them. And again, to prevent that little piece of the top handle from cracking, it shouldn't do, but it can do, I'm just going to leave a white mark around there, because that's what it will be. This fires out very white, and I'm going to paint that around there like that, and I'm just going to give us some nice batik-y looking marks. I'm running out of wax, guys. I gotta re-wax a brush. There we go. So again, I'm going to hold on to this. I didn't do the inside, did I? I better do that, because this is a strong colour, and if it sometimes when you press it in, you into underneath the surface of the slip, you make a bit of a sort of, not exactly a vacuum, but perhaps you got to, when you bring it out, as it comes out of the liquid, it tends to go bloop like that, and you can sometimes get left with that little dollop of colour on the inside of it, which is sort of, as I say, is seen as being a bit untidy by some, not by me. But anyway, there we go. I'm going to push that down, right down as far as my fingers. Bring it back up again, and you can see the wax resist pulling away, pushing the clay out of it. And again, the effect we're looking for here is to try and get something that's a little bit batikish. You know, everyone is going to be different, and I'll put that one out of sight there, and we've only got 2 more to do here. So paint that and paint that, and you've got to be a bit there we go, inside, bit back on there, re-wax the brush. Tip it in, 1, 2, 3, pull it back out again, give it a bit of a shake, because the slip retreating from the wax is going to puddle up otherwise. You can see I've left a bit of a finger mark on that. I can clean that up when it's dried off, or leave it. One more. So this time I'll go around the inside first, because it's just going to make the brush a bit nicer. Brush needs to be a natural fibre, otherwise it's going to melt in the hot wax. So look out for that. Yeah, I mean, so many brushes now are just too much synthetic fibre in it, and those synthetic fibres, by and large, right, that'll do. So there's that one. With the first ones I did, my aim really is to get this colour on the green, and so that's the slip, that's the colour of the slip there, and this is the green glaze we use for the plain tiles over the top of that. So I ran a few glaze tests on these tiles last time I did a glaze firing, and that's our normal green slip, and with a plain glaze over the top of it. this slip with the green glaze over it, like I just showed you, and this one is that slip with a sort of aquamarine glaze over the top of it, and it's a different glaze as well. It's got I think copper carbonate in it. I can see it in a bucket down there. I quite like it. It's quite nice, sort of almost turquoisey kind of colour. So we've got a few different ones. That's a plain glaze over the slip, which is a bit, you know, we use this quite a lot for painting on top of, but I'm not painting on top of these. I'm just looking for a fairly strong colour, and that's not it. That's a background colour. So I put that on, and on top of that, I'm going to put that green glaze. The blue and white ones here, they're going to be blue and white. And it's amazing how white this body fires out. Like if I show you a tile, biscuit ware tile there, that's how white that clay is. And I don't think clay bodies come a lot whiter than that. That's really why we're favouring that one. Can't say I'm that made up with it for throwing, but I had a better body from someone else a while back, and but we've got stuff working at the moment, and boy, when you get it working, you don't want to keep, you know, you can spend your life experimenting really in pottery, there's no question about that, but when you get it to work, sometimes that's the place to stop. Anyway, that's how we do the wax resist. And in the pot, if you didn't see the earlier video, I did mention it, but in the pot this mixture is candle wax and paraffin. You might call paraffin kerosene, I'm not sure. Here's the container, and you know, we call it paraffin. I think in the States you call it kerosene, and it used to be a cheap way of powering lamps and engines and stuff like that, but nowadays it costs a lot more than gasoline or petrol, and it's you got to have some extraction on it as well. So I'm running this tiny little cooker here. It's only an electric plate, and that's being vented out into the atmosphere through an inline fan, which you can hear running, and it goes out into the atmosphere. You don't really want to be breathing those fumes. Okay, well, I hope you found that interesting, and we'll move on with this series to a biscuit firing before long.